concept with multi-layer applications and impact. That's what I'm really interested about also, because as you said in your speech, puts the human back into nature.
Yes. In a way. That's right. I mean, I think still you have to separate two meanings of Anthropocene. One is a purely scientific meaning, and the purely scientific meaning is that humans have become the dominant force of change on Earth. And this doesn't say anything about the importance of this change or the ethics of this change or what we should do or shouldn't do. So in one sense, Anthropocene is a descriptive term that is purely neutrally saying, if you look at what is changing on Earth, it's humans that dominate this change. I think the term really has a wider implication, a cultural and philosophical implication that does give us guidance on whether changes we perform are good or bad. And in that sense, it's a philosophical concept. It does put us in a very special position, but it also makes us a part of nature. So the Anthropocene bridges the nature-culture gap in a way by saying nature and culture have become one. In this age where humans make nature in that sense, and Anthropocene also have a long-term meaning because it's a geological age, and it just can't end after 100 years. You know, I mean, the changes we do will have effects for thousands and tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of years. But it also has this side that humans could be part of nature for 100,000 years or 500,000 years to come. And so this is a very strong, as you say, philosophical side of the Anthropocene idea.
Is there a gap between animals and us?
Yeah, that's right. So I think that the modern world as it is, with what we call the American way of life or the Western way of life, it really is a result of 2,000 years of dualistic thinking. So dualistic meaning an artificial separation between man and nature, between body and mind. To separate the real world, which is spiritual, from the lower world, which is material, is a very strong theme of Western thinking, which has resulted in not only in the philosophy we have today, but also in the economy we have today. So our economy, I think, is organized in a dualistic way. We earn money, which is the spiritual side in a way, but we do neglect the material side. We treat nature as a resource, not as a living entity, as a network, as an infrastructure, as the basis of life. We treat it as an external resource, basically. And this is the result of dualism, of this artificial separation of nature and culture. So the question is, and this is not answered yet, but could a unification, a more holistic approach, with the Anthropocene as an idea that nature and culture are now one, you know, could this help to organize the economy in a new way? So, for example, you would start to pay for ecosystem services. At the moment, if you have like a tropical rainforest, once it's as long as it is alive, it has no monetary value whatsoever. It's an external resource. Only if you cut it, if you chop it down, then it turns into money. So a non-dualistic approach would be to say that this collection of molecules that form a rainforest has an inherent material value, an economic value. So you would start to put this value into your calculation of how you earn money. And suddenly, if you attach a monetary value to nature, the picture changes, and it turns out to be uneconomical to cut rainforest, for example. That's, I think, would be a practical result of non-dualistic thinking, of Anthropocene thinking.
Yeah. Okay. So my previous question about terraforming. Maybe, for example, there's been a lot of a fight for to see water as a common.
Right.
And it's valuable. It's money. But it's nature. But sometimes it depends on where you are on the planet. Water is a common or not, or is a privately owned, or it's the government, or you can go to a mountain and just find a torrent and just drink the water.
Right. Well, perhaps we need to commercialize nature to understand that it cannot be commercialized. Perhaps we need to put a monetary value to it first, to make changes in the way we make money and make business, and then we'll realize that goods like water or forests ultimately cannot be commercialized. It might be an evolution of ideas. In our current world, where you make money with polluting water and money with chopping down forests, I think it's necessary to give a monetary value to clean water and living forests. And if then, through positive exposure to living forests and clean water, people wake up and say, well, this is so precious, it cannot be valued in money, I think that will be a wonderful next step in our cultural development. The moment, it doesn't mean we can get into complete control of planet Earth. I think that is actually the misunderstanding that is underlying our life today. I mean, we now act as if we could control everything. In fact, we don't. And I think the Anthropocene is about finding out how much we don't know about ecosystems, about the biodiversity, about the importance of the climate system for us. And it is more about an exercise in humility towards nature. It's not like we are the dictators of nature or the owners of nature. The Anthropocene, I think, in my view, doesn't mean we can now control nature. It's more about a pathway into the future. And actually, traditional thinking and traditional knowledge will be very important for this. I think the idea that engineers and natural scientists can provide us with the knowledge to control planet Earth, it doesn't work. We are now seeing with our environmental crises at the moment, this doesn't work. So we need more inspiration. I think we need to bridge traditional thinking, sustainable thinking, with advanced technology. And if traditional thinking can actually change the way technology is made, and the way it works and the way it changes the planet, then I think this will move us towards a more sustainable Anthropocene.
dark.